Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your magical, mystical host of Xenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters, and apparently somewhat of a romantic. Today we have our second romantic movie of February. It's another romantic fantasy, and it's called I Married a Witch. It was made in 1942, released in October 30th, 1942. What a surprise. It runs a scant 77 minutes and was based on the novel The Passionate Witch from 1941 by Torn Smith and finished by Norman H. Matson after Torn Thorn Smith passed away before he finished it. So it does bear a bit of resemblance to some other movies with witches and other television shows, especially. Although you probably couldn't see it yourself. Frederick March, who was one of the first Dr. Jekylls, and Veronica Lake, who's astounding, but had it says person. Well, I don't know. She's great, but apparently some of her male stars had issues with her. But you wouldn't see it on the screen here. So, and it was directed by Renee Clare and produced by Renee Clare, and music was by Roy Webb. Whew, words are hard. Paramount Pictures produced it, and it was distributed by United Artists. I Married a Witch. So it does definitely make one think of, if you haven't seen this movie first, you would think of Bewitched easily, which of course was allegedly put into play after Bell Book and Candle was released, which has similarities to this as well, I must say. So the cast is great, and we'll go through some of them as we go along here. But it starts out, there's our cast. There you go. Long, long ago, when people still believed in witches. Silly, silly people who don't believe in witches now.
Once upon a night, two wisps of smoke were out on a lark.
So this is the aftermath of the trial and the burning of two witches. Uh, Jennifer and Danielle. Jennifer is Veronica Lake. Cecil Calloway is Daniel, her father, you've seen him in many, many things as well. Just to name a few, I mean, you can't even. He was a leading man. Strong part here. My Heart Belongs to Daddy, and Star Spangled Rhythm, Forever and a Day, The Crystal Ball, Ain't Hay, and just tons. He wasn't on too much television, but he did do Perry Mason. Hear the cue there, because I still haven't done it yet. And he was also on Bewitched as Santa Claus and Rawhide with young Clint Eastwood, I'm sure. So there's the first version of Frederick March as Jonathan Woolley. He also plays Nathaniel Woolley, Samuel Woolley, and Principal Wallace Woolley. Wally Woolley. Good job. Well, actually, that's not him. That's the pastor with his big book of exorcism. They're handing out hot popped maize. There's a lot of little in jokes in this movie that are just wonderful. And there is Jonathan Woolley and his current wife, or his about to be wife, and his mom. And he was just said, well, Jennifer was, for a witch, she was pretty cute. And Veronica Lake is more than a little cute. But he said, before we killed her, really, executed her, she put a curse on my family that will never be happy in marriage. And boy, howdy. So, 100 years, this was in, what year does this say this was? Colonial Salem. This is like 1760, 100 years later. That's the tree they're buried under, an oak tree, so that it'll contain their souls. But they can still at least watch and laugh at people. Beautiful, very picturesque. 1861, Civil War is on, and good old Nathaniel Woolley decides he needs to get out away from his wife and runs away. And finally, Samuel Woolley gets married when he's old, and I don't know how he has kids, but eh. And so on until 1942, which is now. Wallace Woolley, there's Wallace Woolley and his soon-to-be wife, Estelle, who's played by Susan Hayward, and best known for her film portrayals of women that were based on true stories. An excellent here. She doesn't get a lot of comedy to do, but she's kind of a two-note character, really, bossing him around and being upset. So they're at the party there. That is Wallace's good buddy, Wally's good buddy, Dr. Dudley White, played by Robert Benchley, who we know as he was at the Harvard Lampoon. So he's been in other things that we've seen. Ooh, there's the lightning strike. So the effects here, they give an effects credit to someone whose name I don't remember, but this is the animated lightning is about it. The puffs of smoke that we see are, just superimposed. It works. It's very effective, but it's nothing. It's not what you really consider special effects, optical effects, I'd say. This releases Daniel and Jennifer to go plague mankind again, and they're happy about it and they really want to get back at the Woolies because they burned them at the stake. Rightly so. That's about where we come in here.
A witch and her father.
Goodbye, Father.
Goodbye, Jennifer. Be a man yet. Her first night was a calamity, but
so they go over to the Woolley house, and they see that it's changed. They know he knows that the time has passed, but she seems to be not as cognizant of how far the 270 years that have passed. So, but they both hide. They don't want to get seen. There's still puffs of smoke, so they hide in a whiskey jar and something else. And Daniel really likes his whiskey. This will come in later, come in handy. And I don't know exactly. Oh, it's an ale that Jennifer's in. So there they go escaping. And there's where we get they're on the broom flying away because all witches ride brooms. Now, of course, in this movie, the witches are evil. He's a warlock, which is, something that I guess they had to make a distinction for. Jennifer wants a body back, and since her body was destroyed in fire, Daniel sets the Pilgrim Hotel on fire.
She was rescued by a very handsome man. Cold in this furnace?
But I have no clothes.
Oh,
brother.
This little witch was no ordinary witch.
There are no ordinary witches. I can attest to that from personal experience. So he takes her home. He dumps off his fiancée and runs in there and saves her, and he gets a lot of publicity. There's the broom dancing. Goes home. There's a cat named Susie. It's a tuxedo. And there we go. She's there. Mysteriously appeared. Veronica Lake's like, I don't know. If she's 5'2", I'd be astounded. But everyone in Hollywood was shorter than what they look like on the screen. But she's trying to seduce him and get him to leave and just make his life miserable. And she does a pretty good job. And that's just the picture of the first one, the first doofus that he was. Jonathan falling off. Again, lots of little touches here. The cast is excellent. There's Dudley, who manages to take every drink that we see Wallace have. Every drink. I'll take care of that. Just the asides. It's just that really, you don't see filmmaking like this anymore. They have that transatlantic accent that's going on here. Of course, the ghosts speak in these and thous and Thor language, as us nerds that read Thor in the comics from the 60s or the 70s, which didn't make any sense anyway. Why would he continue? Why would we hear him talking like that? Be that as it may, she was amazing. just an amazing actress, and unfortunately had some personal problems as well as some alcohol issues, but did a lot of things and was busy until she passed on. There's a Lake Veronica in some books. She's very famous. Sparks did a song about her. So they're talking, and they talk the night away. It's 8 in the morning again, and now he's got to explain why she's still there. There's the housekeeper, who's hilarious. That's Elizabeth Patterson. And she was also the elderly neighbor, Matilda Trumbull, on the television comedy series I Love Lucy. Yes, I read that verbatim right from Wikipedia. So we have seen her. She had a long career as well, obviously. And Jennifer is just wolfing down these waffles that you can fold over and eat. I don't know how she's not getting them all over all the syrup everywhere. And she slides down the banister, puts the Margaret to sleep by telling her to, and then she contacts her father because he's not falling in love with me.
Oh, no. She was beautiful and did the strangest things. But she had a terrible time making the right man fall in love with her.
She's only trying right now to make him fall in love with her. See, this is a bit misleading. A trailer that's misleading? Well, so she boils up a pot of love potion. I don't know what number. It's probably number 8 or number 4. Number 42. Let's just call it that, since it's also the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Before we get too much further in here, let me just make a pitch to please like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment. It really helped the algorithm if you watch for a couple more minutes than you normally do, longer than normal. Okay, so we've got that out of the way. Back to the movie. And she slides up the banister too, which is a nice, obviously just a simple in-camera trick to reverse it. Doesn't spill a drop of her potion. And now she's also got a lovely outfit on.
I'm a pretty good judge of character. I don't think you're really a bad girl.
I guess this will take longer than I planned.
It's getting late.
But I want you to know what I am.
All right.
Okay, so the trailer skipped ahead quite a bit. Unfortunately, one of Samuel there, or Jonathan, or somebody, picture falls off again and clonks her on the head. And that scares Wally. And he gives her because she tells him it's water, so he gives her water to revive her, but it's the love potion. So you shouldn't mess around with love potions. Now, according to my lore, the lore I understand, love potions can work by intensifying emotions, but they won't last, even if there are emotion there. Now, I'd have to consult with my resident witch about them. I don't think she goes much into potions, but it'd be an interesting conversation. That's not her particular gift, I don't believe, nor mine, because, well, maybe. I've never tried it, but I'm not going to. So, of course, when she wakes up, she's in love with Wallace.
Hey, what are you?
I'm a witch. Why do you look at me that way?
So, while this is all happening, Daniel burns down something to get him, lights something on fire so that he'll get a body, and he arrives at the house. Why they couldn't magically just teleport themselves, we don't know, but because apparently Jennifer could. And there he is, again with no clothes on, because he doesn't remember the spell to conjure clothing. And he's still a little warm. That was just funny. The seats on the chair he sat on lit on fire because he was still a little warm from his rebirth. And now they're going to stop the wedding to make Wally even more miserable. And this woman is singing "I Love You Truly" over. It's a running gag for a while here. They conjure up a windstorm to slow everything down, and now they're there. So here we go.
Oh, my dress. Do you like it?
No. Such a shock to see you dressed.
So, yes, it's a shock to see her dressed. Clever line. Daniel gives him a gun because he's going to shoot it. He's going to have him shoot him, but unfortunately, well, Wally thinks, "Oh, I'll just set it down and it won't shoot," because he doesn't realize what he's messing with. Uh, and then he shoots himself, and he revives at one point in time. He says, "He shot me in cold blood." He tells Dudley that. Now they're about to get married, but Daniel's back in the bottle drinking, and she threatens to tell him who she really is, and then he goes back into his body and comes back to life. So no corpus delicti, because he's not really dead, no matter what anyone says. But he's drunk. He's really drunk. He falls out the window, gets arrested. Now Estelle, is that her name? Yes, Estelle comes in and sees them embracing, and she immediately gets the right idea, a wrong idea, right idea. But and then runs off. And now I left out the whole thing about being elected governor of the state of, I would assume, Massachusetts. Let's see if it says up here. Because Puritans and all. Salem, yeah, one would guess. Running for governor. I don't think they actually said it, but because he's been found with another woman, of course, in Puritan Massachusetts, his career's over. Daniel can't get out of the jail because he's drunk and he's got a hangover, but he also tells Wally that he invented, don't tell me what I have, I invented hangovers. Yet again, another great line, just to throw away, that's funny. I'm sure it got a laugh out of the crowd. Blah, 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 more music. So they elope and get married. She's in a nice little, I love her outfit here. Got lost. There it is. I did have to lighten it a little bit, but yeah. What man is going to fall for that witch? There's their marriage certificate. And she can't figure out how to work matches, so she just conjures a fire and was going to tell him, but gets distracted on their wedding night. And then Wally goes to talk to Daniel, who's like, what can we do here? And then she casts a spell that makes everyone vote for him. Everyone. That doesn't surprise anyone that there's that seems to be a major voter fraud. But I like that it's the puff of smoke. Even the ballots change. I didn't know they had ballots that could do that. You didn't need a computer, apparently. But you see all these little animated X's fall down from Elwood Bensinger to Wallace Woolley. And he gets elected. Now she's all happy that she made a fire, and he's kind of freaked out because she's a witch. I don't know. Did we see this when Tom Hanks freaked out when finally found true love and she's a fish? I'm not saying that these movies are similar, but what are you going to do? All right. So now Daniel said, I've taken away your power. You're just mortal, which doesn't bother Jennifer that much, but he's decided that they're going back to the tree because he's done with mortals, and they don't realize it's Daniel in the cab until they see the clock tower, and they realize they're a nice little miniature set here, where obviously you can tell it's a tiny little car, but they're floating. And then they go clear back to the homestead and crash. Everyone's all right, but Daniel goes back to the tree and he says, "You're coming with me." And she's like, "I don't want to." But she does. And she says, what's the good quote? Here, love is stronger than witchcraft. I have yet to do enough research about that particular statement. So she dies, and I am using air quotes there, and goes back to the tree. Well, they're not really, they're just hanging out in the tree because they're not stuck in the tree anymore because it's broken. Wally carries her lifeless body back to there. And then she tells Daniel she's back to normal. She's a witch again, and she's happy that he's miserable. She's a smart witch now, isn't she? And Daniel's like, "Oh, let's go look at him." And they're watching him, be all sad because she's gone. Uh-oh, what's that next to him? That same ale bottle. Now, we know that it wasn't there the whole time they were gone, so somebody must be drinking. And there's the Old Prairie whiskey. Ugh, it's probably rot gut. No wonder he's so soused. But guess who's back in there? So as soon as he's in there drinking and singing, she goes back into her body. And then immediately corks Daniel in there, and that's it. So she's now a witch, and she's got her powers back, and her father is stuck in a bottle. Apparently, he can't magic himself out. Everyone's happy, right? Right? And they won't have any more problems. We hope. So we flash forward about 5 years into the future. I'd say probably about 7 years because they've got two boys and a girl. And she looks happy, and she's left all these boneheaded pictures of his former boneheads up. But Marjorie is not happy with their daughter. She's been with them for 37 years. Margaret, pardon me. And she just can't handle little Jennifer. Why would you name her little Jennifer? Don't you know what kind of trouble you're going to have? Same haircut and everything. Adorable little girl. That's Ann Carter. Let's see what else she's been in. And imagine, let's look here at her filmography. Married a Witch was her second movie. She's uncredited. Let's see. When did she? Oh, this doesn't get credit. Oh, she does get credited here. Age 7. And Now Tomorrow, Curse of the Cat People. The Virginian. So yeah, she was only worked for about 11 years. So as far as I can tell, unless that's just, yeah, that's it. Little girl passed on 2014. She was 77 years old. Little cute little thing, isn't she? Jennifer looks over and tells Wally, "We're going to have trouble with that one." It's like, duh. And we're going to yes. And then Daniel starts laughing, and the end. Caden Film Company. This particular print came from the Criterion Collection DVD. I don't know that there's a Blu-ray, but I don't know how much better it's going to look. It's a 2K restoration. There are no extras on here. It's just an audio interview with Renee Claire and the trailer, and an essay inside by Guy Madden. I'd say it's worth it. You don't need to start up here. But that's our love movie, our fantasy, love, romantic rom-com of the day, because it is a comedy and it's very funny. I highly recommend it. But my fellow agents, we'll probably do one more here at some point, maybe. I don't know. Can we do one more week in the month? Well, we have kind of a week and a half, but one more just next week. So until our next assignment, that will be tomorrow, and I don't know what we're doing tomorrow. This is X7 signing off.
Once upon a night, two wisps of smoke were out on a lark. A witch and her father.
Goodbye, Father.
Goodbye, Jennifer. Be a bad girl.
Her first night was a calamity, but she was rescued by a very handsome man.
Oh, I'm cold.
Cold in this furnace?
But I have no clothes.
No clothes.
Now, this little witch was no ordinary witch. Oh, no, she was beautiful and did the strangest things. But she had a terrible time making the right man fall in love with her.
Oh, I am a pretty good judge of character. I don't think you're really a bad girl.
I guess this will take longer than I planned.
It's getting late.
But I want you to know what I am.
All right. All right, what are you?
I'm a witch. Why do you look at me that way? Oh, my dress. Do you like it?
I don't know. It's such a shock to see you dressed.